Hi, and welcome back to the Meaning Making Matrix channel, where, as you know, we are going through topics and studies related to meaning and motivation. And this time we're looking at a kind of short study today, a study of personality in relation to resilience and stress. Looking at personality traits like extroversion, neuroticism and psychoticism in relation to resilience and stress, seeing as these can, or looking for, that is, if there is a relationship between personality types in how we handle stress and how resilient we are, so to speak. And in relation to the personality types, there is different models for determining personality. The most prominent, that is also the most used, is the Big Five one, where they look at the traits openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, and or agreeableness and neuroticism. Acronym OCEAN. And then there's also a 16-factor personality invented by Raymond Cattell. That's the most used ones, but this study focuses on the one that is made by Esnack, however that is pronounced, a trait model based on introversion, extroversion, psychoticism, and neuroticism. The situation then is, quote, resilience is understood as the relative capacity for healthy adaptation to life adversities. The word resilience is taken from the word resile, which means to bounce or spring back from back plus salire, jump or leap, according to a paper by Agnes in 2005, and, quote, it concerns both the exposure of adversity and the positive adjustment to the outcome of that adversity. And resilience, as it just gives a better understanding of the words from the commonly understood definition of it. Also, quote, studies indicate that the variation of traits represented in people's personalities can allow for considerably different responses to stress, according to Saracen in 2005. Also, quote, studies indicate that individuals with positive and outgoing personalities experience less stress as compared to individuals with negative personalities, who experience higher degrees of distress, according to Vollrath and Torgerson in 2000. It is thus proposed that awareness of one's own feelings can help cope more efficiently with stress. Then the study goes on to suggest resilience as a trait in itself, which many things can be done. That is in reference to when they first started the area of psychology in relation to that became today personality psychology. They looked at all the things that people used, or all the words people used to describe people's personalities, like brave, stressful, open, every kind of word people could use, and then they kind of looked at the ones that was most used and what was common between them, and then reduced them to like some main factors. So resilience in one sense could be one such factor. And this study set out some hypotheses to test out, so to speak, and they base it on 3 groups of stress, 3 groups of resilience, and then one final one looking at the gender differences. First being, it is expected that neuroticism is negatively correlated with resilience, and the opposite positively correlated with stress. They also assume extroversion to be positively correlated with resilience and as a result negatively correlated with stress. Psychoticism is also expected to be negatively correlated with resilience and positively correlated with stress. They also expect there to be differences in gender between all of these traits, including stress and resilience. A weakness here is, yes, that they don't use some factors in the big 5 like openness and conscientiousness, because those to me seem to be very relevant. So I'm not sure why they did not choose the big 5, but hey. Going into what they found, the study of Campbell and Sills from 2006 also supports the notion wherein resilience, which acts as a social support, is a buffer against life stressors. And extroverts have a great amount of social withstanding, so they ought to be higher in resilience, referring to the expectations in this study. This shows the same as is presented in the book The Social Cure, which is one I used in my bachelor's assignment, or at least when I studied psychology. However, this study found no significant correlation between extroversion and resilience, which was then also suggested to be a fluke, referring then to all the studies that gets the results that there is a correlation. But they did find it positive in relation to their hypothesis that there is a correlation between neuroticism and resilience in a negative way, and a positive correlation between neuroticism and stress. Okay, this one failed a little bit, but okay. They also find that in relation to psychoticism and resilience, that the hypothesis that psychoticism is correlated to resilience was proved to be insignificant, meaning there was no positive nor negative correlation found in the study. The study of Laxhim from 2007 demonstrates that individuals high in psychoticism tend to have a lower resilience, which in a sense would make sense, but that hypothesis did not pan through, so to speak. And the relationship between extroversion and stress showed inconclusive, and research is described as mixed results, meaning that the existing research have like both variation of no results and some either positive or negative relations. I would guess that extroversion would maybe be negatively related to stress, but I guess both things can happen depending on things. Might be explained by different sources of stress, yeah. Psychoticism and stress was only positively correlated to females, which is the only gender-based difference they found. But Yes, they found no overall significant difference between genders in the traits explored. This was a very short study, and for some reason there was no discussion or conclusions written in the study, which is kind of strange because most of the studies do discuss the things. So this kind of, after results, this one just ended. Therefore, kind of a short one this time. I hope you learned or found something interesting here. If you want to read it, you can find it via this DOI number you can search for, or on this address. I will link it in the description of this video. I see many people that lack motivation as a result of not enough meaning in their lives. You might wonder what meaning has to do with motivation. My bachelor's paper shows that what people consider meaningful is also what they consider important. And if something is important enough, we will do it. This tells me that meaning is important for motivation. Tom Bailu, among others, have stated, quote, "Humans are meaning-making machines." My goal here is to help people learn more about themselves and help them find a long-term meaningful goal in life. So if you have not found your interest and struggle with motivation, you might want to visit my website at whori.org and see if this is for you. Which is here. You can either contact me here or look around and see if it's for you, and if it still is, you can contact me here. Or if you want to know more, you can click this link to schedule a call. I am located in Norway, and if you want a physical meeting with me, that can be arranged, and my Norwegian website is kenreg.org, which looks more or less the same. And with that, I wish you well on your journey.